All right, here we are again. Jay, pleasure to have you here.
What's happening?
Not much, man. So I wanted to, we've been hiring a lot of agents, right? And you've brought on a ton of agents, a couple thousand, right?
Yeah, just a handful.
Yeah. So we're trying, what frustrates me in the whole transition of somebody leaving a company is that nobody really understands what they signed, right? So, they come over and then they deal with their broker on what, their paperwork said when they joined the brokerage. Some people started there. They didn't even know what to look for.
Right.
So I've been saying to everybody that kind of got hurt on their way out, lost a decent amount of money based on some clauses in their contracts that they were unaware of. And then we have people that have to wait months to join us because of their contracts. So I kind of wanted to, update the real estate community to tell everybody you should really pay attention to the language in your independent contractor agreement. And I wanted to share some of the examples, but why don't we start, you were at different brokerage than me. Why don't you share kind of your experiences and some of the things that you definitely knew to cross out?
Right. So, fortunately for me, I think before I went independent, and again, this is for, anybody, you may think everything's great today. But at some point, you might decide that you want to make this move to EXP like everybody else. And so, or anywhere for that matter. So, I think, knowing what you've actually signed, I mean, hey, this is your business that you built for yourself. And, you're stuck with, these, some of the things that we're going to talk about are pretty egregious, I think, in terms of, not fair. And you kind of hope that, hey, we'll have a good relationship and, this is going to be, they'll not hold me to that or whatever. But, you need to know what you've signed. So, because you're legally bound to that. So I think it's important, to make sure that you know what you're signing. So let's talk through it.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through a couple contracts that I happen to have based on some different brokerages and just kind of read. And the first thing I'll say is most contracts have an automatic renewal in them. So agents, if you think, you can just leave on your 12th month, that's not true. Unfortunately, you have to cancel your agreement 30, 60, or even 90 days prior to leaving. I see Dave Spencer just made a comment. He lost a shit ton before he learned his lesson. I know what company he left. And that's one of the contracts I have here. So real quick, here's something that I found interesting in this contract. It says, no commissions will be paid by the broker to salespersons on any transactions under contract but have not yet closed, or any renewals on leases, options to purchase, or anything after the contract is canceled. So that is absolutely horrible.
Yeah, that's as bad as it gets. That's as aggressive as it gets. Basically, if you had a couple deals set to close and you're ready to transfer and maybe move over to another company, you get nothing. That's unbelievable.
And we had an agent come and leave $20,000 on the table in closings with this company, and it was just terrible. Once I read that, I was like, wow, that's you're trying to help people come over, but in transition for any producers, they're just doing another deal every 2 weeks, so they get stuck staying. So guys, on your renewal, all you have to do is tell your broker, I'm not renewing my contract. Here's the clauses I want out. Obviously on the exit, that's a huge one. Next one that's in a lot of contracts is non-solicitation. All right. So it says here, this one for 2 years following termination, they shall not solicit any contractor who's affiliated with or employed by said broker to the scope of a 25-mile radius. So that means if you're building this is one of the worst contracts I've ever read. And agents, This company is notorious for newer agents. And I can guarantee you guys, if you didn't read this contract, you have it. Everybody at the company is forced to sign the same one. Some guys, are savvy enough to read through it and cancel some stuff. But that means if you're building a team, you can't even solicit. And if somebody comes to you, that's allowed, but you can't solicit. Jay, why don't you share a little bit about non-solicitation, some of the things that you've seen over the years?
Yeah, so I mean, I think in most cases, and I certainly would not say that I'm an attorney. I would say that this is not legal advice. Consult your own attorney. But it's more of a scare tactic than anything. But I've actually seen anybody can sue anybody over anything. So there's a threat of litigation, and then there's the reality of if someone does decide to sue you over not the solicitation, and that never used to probably be as big of an issue until today. Agents are going to reach out to you when you leave your company. Everybody talks about, I'm not a recruiter. I mean, it's really agent attraction. It's not like you're doing anything to, really specific to get people to reach out to you. When people see that you leave your company and move to EXP, they want to know because they've heard about it and they've heard, they probably don't know all the business model. They might think that they know a little bit about it. But they're going to want to ask you, and you're going to feel like, oh shoot, well, can I talk to these people or not talk to these people? So it's just it's something that gets in the way of making a good transition and bringing over a handful of friends over with you to EXP at the same time. And so that one's one you definitely want to cross out. And if you're on good terms with your brokers, this is the best time to do this. Best time to have this conversation because when you're ready to leave, it's not going to be the case. But when they don't think it's going to help you to stay, then they're going to come to agree with whatever it is that you want to put in there. But I think that's such a big deal.
Yeah, man. So the other contract I have here's another clause, and I just went over a little bit, but it said notice of non-renewal, right? This contract automatically renewed unless you notify the broker 60 days prior to its deadline. So for those of you who don't know, it's a 60-day clause. You got to go to your broker and say, or put a message in writing and say, yeah, I'm not renewing my current contract. I'm willing to negotiate with you, but definitely not renewing these terms and this actual contract. And that's where you should get into these, clauses that we're talking about. Now, some of the interesting clauses I found in another contract, failure to give notice. Okay, you should look for this because according to this contract, the broker can, if you don't give 60 days, they can bill you for 60 days. So, and this was a surprise for a few agents that I knew that after, they left, they got handed a bill for 60 days rent, So, and I thought that was crazy because I was like, wait a second, you quit. And even some people were asked to leave quicker, right? Because they wanted to do 30 days or something, close some business out. And they wanted to leave quicker, but then they charged you rent. And that's just such an unfair clause. And again, these are a lot of these agents that we brought over. You don't really look at this stuff, your exit agreement, until you're ready to go. And then by then your decision's kind of made. And then we end up here where it's like, I don't know, what are you going to get paid? We'll see what they pay you. And unfortunately a move does cost you money. So I guess the next one in this contract, again, another covenant to non-compete. This one was interesting. I can't say the brokerage name, but it says 2 years, you cannot compete. You cannot purchase any other brokerage, and there is no mileage on it. You just can't operate a sales business and become an owner. And that's horrible. I mean, look, what would you say?
Again, I'm not your attorney. This is not legal advice, but that would be very difficult to enforce. I mean, some of the things that have to be there is, there has to be a time frame and there has to be a geographic, territory attached to it before it becomes very enforceable. They're basically saying you can't even go start your own business. I mean, that's crazy. That's the most ridiculous one I've heard yet.
Yeah. And then here, in my state, I believe all the contracts have to say what happens on exit. So here in this case, the broker was taking 30% of any commissions coming in and taking, anything that expired, the agent only got 20%. So if a contract had to get renewed, a listing agreement, the agent only got 20%. Again, that's horrible, right? And agents just
so a listing that had to get renewed, or is that saying like if you had a buyer under contract and you had to extend that contract?
It says if in the event the listing was procured, then after termination, if it goes to closing, they're entitled to receive 20%. So they only get a 20% referral fee for sending the client, which is crazy, right?
Right.
We just had, so I have somebody here at this company now who just had to sign off on a referral fee for her own relative's listing to a previous broker. And I thought, like, unfortunately, when we all sign this, I can't show the paperwork because it's got logos on it. But when we sign these pieces of paper, everybody is young in this business, especially if you stay at your brokerage for a long time. And unfortunately, they have you and they have your business. And they got you, again, just seeing this, that you get zero in this one contract. That's absurd. Most of the time, hey, my opinion, Jay, tell me yours, but if the broker, brought that business to you, I feel they're due some money.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. I mean, that's fair, right? Like, and I think that's, part of everybody that goes through the process of deciding, do I want to leave or not? It's like, well, how many deals am I getting from my broker? How many deals did I do on my own? You should be doing that math anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, you should expect, I mean, that's the right thing to do. And just like on the flip side, the right thing to do is for the broker to let you take your deals with you, and pay it out at the same split that you were on. So,
yeah, I agree. And one thing I'll say, I've read, our contract, and I feel it's extremely fair. There's a couple companies that have very fair ICAs, and EXP says simply, you'll be paid per your contract. They don't ask for any more. They're not going to penalize you for leaving, right? You'll lose your potential stock, right? And some of the other benefits that you may have, but that's the way it should be, right? Nobody should be penalized or smacked on the wrist or have their money for their family taken away from them when they, leave a company and seek another opportunity. So, unfortunately, guys, if you're out there considering a move, we'd love to chat with you, right, Jay?
Yeah, we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
We have a very fair contract,
Right.
So you'll never have to worry about that. And, I guess why don't we share a little bit about EXP and why it's growing so fast?
Yep.
Let's share a little bit about the EXP model and why people are reaching out to us. As everybody right now should be doing, you should be running your numbers, find out where your business came from and how much money, you got charged. And, at the end of the day, it's what's in the bank at the end of the year. January 1st is around the corner. And, if we can help make
you give yourself a $20,000 raise next year or more, certainly could be a lot more than that. But, just this is the first thing we did in coaching. We said, okay, well, what company you at? What's your splits? What's, where's your business coming from? That's the first thing we always look at, because you might be leaving a ton of money on the table. And if nothing else, man, do the math and just, I remember, it was actually Brett Jennings, and Jennings wasn't ready to leave the company he was at, but he was getting a really, really not good deal, and he was paying in upwards of, I want to say it was almost $200,000 that he was paying in to the company he was at, and I said, dude, if nothing else, even if you're not ready to leave, go negotiate a better deal, if nothing else. And so, like, right now, you should be looking at your numbers. If your business is growing and you're producing and you're doing well, and you see that only going up next year because you have goals, big goals, then you owe it to yourself to at least negotiate a better deal with your or make sure you look at the contract that you signed, or don't renew it until you get the clauses in it or taken out that you want taken out. So all of that's super important. But back to EXP. Why is EXP growing so fast? Why is it the fastest growing company in the history of real estate? I think it's pretty simple. They've found a better way for us to all transact real estate. Bottom line, a better way, a cheaper way, where we're paying less and we're earning more, and there's more opportunity, and there's equity, and there's everything that you would want in any kind of a business is what you get when you join EXP. Yep.
And some of the other benefits, for those who don't know, when you join us here at EXP, you come in at an 80-20 split. A lot of people on their renewals, if your end of the year renewal, which is kind of common sometimes, you reset back down to whatever your split started at, and then you go up. You may go up depending on the production. But here, everybody comes in on an 80-20 with a $16,000 cap. And the fees are nominal, right? We have a couple fees for technology and our live video streaming training, which is what's setting us apart, why we're growing so fast. I think this is the second month where we're over 1,000 agents a month, right?
Right. Yep.
I think it was something.
It's like a freight train. And they announced this year, this month actually coming in November, I think is rolling out health insurance, which is a huge deal for real estate agents for us to have that opportunity, like we always should have had, but never have. So yeah, there's a lot of great things. I think like a lot of people I think don't understand why the cloud is why it's better, right? So like we all known real estate offices, and you're sitting in one, so it's not like you don't have an office, physical office. But in this business model, when you think about business models and you think about, well, how do these companies typically operate and grow these franchises? Well, you pay royalties that never stop, and that little 5, 6, 7, 8%, it adds up. Now, that's a tax that never stops, and the more you produce, the more the bigger that number gets, and so that's something. EXP is one company across the globe. There's no franchises. There's no regional franchises that are being paid royalties, that you're having to pay royalties up to the top that are being split with a region or franchisees or anything of that nature. You become an owner at EXP, you get the stock, and you also have the opportunity, because EXP wants to reward the agents that help grow the company. You have the opportunity to earn revenue share off the top with the agents that that you bring into the company, and so on and so forth. The agents they bring to the company, and that can be obviously a sizable number when you start to really look at this opportunity. But when I think about when this company started, was 2009, was when Glenn founded EXP Realty, first cloud-based real estate brokerage, which was back then that doesn't sound like that long ago, but 2 years after the iPhone. That's how long ago that was. And so today, the reason I use Amazon is because it's easier than me driving to the store. It's just simple. It's just, I can click a button, done. So the reason I watch Netflix and wouldn't drive to a video store, the reason is there's no video stores left, is because I'd much rather consume all my content in one place. And Netflix mastered that. They just made it easier for us. And when something's disruptive, it just means they made it better. They made the experience better. And for agents, we look for support and we look for training from the brokerage we join, and we pay them a little bit, not a lot. If you pay them a lot, then you just need to do the math, because you shouldn't be there. Most of us that are a little bit savvy at all, look at that number and be like, that's a fair number, or this has got to change. And so, either go out and go independent, or you go join some place where there's a better deal or there's more opportunity. Well, in today's world, with EXP and its business model, the better place is EXP. The 16,000 cap that you pay on an 80-20 split, you can actually get that back in stock in the company just by producing, hitting some production numbers. And so they want producing agents. So what do? They reward you with stock in the company. That in and of itself, and you might be able to tell your numbers, Matt, but you had, for how many ever years you've been paying RE/MAX a certain amount of money. That was on in the negative. And then you come to EXP, and through the stock awards and the equity purchase program, where you can buy the stock at a 20% discount, you're accumulating stock that's going to be in 10 years worth something, right? We don't know what it's going to be worth. It's probably worth more than nothing, right? And that's a huge swing in net worth over the course of a decade of selling real estate. And you've been doing it 17 years. I can't even imagine if we went backwards what that would be worth today.
Tell me about it. I sat back and actually, you know what? Yeah. So by June 1st, if I sell now 1, 2, 3, I guess about 12, 13 more houses, which I should be able to do. On average, we're doing about 4 a month. I'll earn my $16,000 again in company stock. So, that's a huge opportunity. That was one of my biggest reasons when I left where I left, because I sat back and realized after 17 years, I had nothing. I had a great career. Don't get me wrong. I was top sales, all that stuff. Learned how to sell real estate. Right.
Lots of
I got a bunch of awards up there that I can't cash them. So, at the end of the day, this year, passive income based on me helping the company grow, that's a huge opportunity. I never thought the figure would ever be where it is today. and I can tell you that's a game changer. When part of your bills on a monthly basis disappear because you're helping a company grow and they're rewarding you for that, it's just a game changer. You know, life gets a little bit easier knowing you're, you know, even a car payment for most people, you know, that would change your life.
Absolutely.
And when you start focusing on stuff like that, you know, again, 17 years, I left, I had nothing. And then I turned around, I was the first Icon agent in New Jersey, right? So I got my 16 grand back. Then I, you know, was awarded a bunch of shares of stock for earning, you know, or helping grow the company. Then I paid, you know, out of my own commissions, which I never did before. Why? Because I couldn't afford an extra 5%, you know, to be taken out of my bank account or out of my commission checks, because I was already losing 6. You know, I can't lose 11% every check, you know, especially when you start building and adding systems. So now, yeah, my first 12 months, and I'm at about 16, 17 months now, you know, the number is crazy. So
it's good.
It's good. It's better than what I thought it would be. It's real. That's what I'll tell everybody. You know, people are questioning, is it sustainable? Is it, you know, can this company keep doing it? The answer is yes, it's sustainable. We have sustainable equity program, sustainable revenue share program for everyone. And, you know, I don't see it stopping. And luckily, when I joined, I was one of the first in my area in the southern part of New Jersey. And, you know, I think I was agent somewhere around 180 to 200. Since then, we're over 700 agents. So for the state of New Jersey to jump that much, the company was at about 10,000 when I joined, and now we're at 23,000, I think, right? Over somewhere around that figure. And you know, there's a chart, and I'll post it. Maybe I'll post it in these comments for everybody who might be thinking of reaching out to us. We'll show you the numbers of growth, and when a company grows like that, you really need to pay attention to it.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah, there's opportunity, right? There's opportunity in a lot of different things, and I'm sure you wouldn't have transitioned your entire business and business.
No, of course not. Like, this is the thing, you know, you have to if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're watching this and you're like, yeah, but I think I understand the model. I promise you have no idea what we're doing. Okay, I promise you're missing something. So, like, be inquisitive and ask. Well, okay, tell me what I'm missing, because I did the math and it's not, math isn't working for me, or I think I understand the model, or find out what your questions are, or whatever you think won't work for you, whatever that story in your head is. But, like, ask questions, because if you knew that you were partnering with us, if you knew the systems that we're going to put in place to help you build your own passive income, if you knew all the things that we're going to do to help you grow your real estate business, you'd already be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd already be here. That's true. So, you know, quit sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes for everybody. Now's the time when you're all doing your numbers, trying to figure out how to net more money in your real estate business. We have some answers for you, right? So we have a couple extra revenue streams here at EXP Realty. We have the best technology for you to sell more houses. If you just want to sell more houses and earn stock, there's a way to do that. If you want to help our company grow, there's a way to get rewarded to do that. I was, you know, and you too, Jay, like, we're the guys that were number one in the company that the broker got to point at us and say, hey, you know, go do what those guys are doing. See, they can sell, you know, 50, 100 homes a year, 200, 500 homes a year. Come learn from him, right? Here, we're getting rewarded for all those agents that want to be around us. And it's special. You know, I got Melissa copied me or tagged me in a message yesterday and said, you know, thanks for all, you know, teaching so much and helping us. And that's just rewarding. And, you know, the company is rewarding me as well for bringing, you know, agents to it. So, yeah, we're here to help. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link down to schedule some time with Jay and I. We will review your contract with you. Pull out those ICAs, guys. Cancel them. Tell your broker you're done. You're not renewing. I had an agent reach out, said, I might be coming, but I'm not sure yet. She said, I really know that I need a raise. I said, well, just tell them you're coming anyway. I said, they'll give you what you want.
Right.
So, so any last words, Jay?
Oh, hell no, it's time to go.
All right.
You know, like, there's a better way. It's better over here. I promise. It is. Yep. It's so much better.
Yep. Best move of my life. And I'll tell, you know, everybody, I was closed-minded to any real estate opportunities outside of the brokerage that I had. I'm glad, you know, I was one of your coaching clients and I followed and really opened my mind to it, because it changed my life. So if you guys are looking for a change or want to evaluate the whole opportunity, I don't care who, what you've heard about EXP, come hear it from us. We're experts. We might share a few more things that you weren't told about or that you couldn't find online in all the videos that are out there. So just reach out to us, Jay. Pleasure having you again, man. I'll see you in a few weeks.
See ya. Yep. See Key West.
You got it. Take care, guys.
Yep. Later.